Hi, the YouTuber Politico has done some excellent videos on why the contempt judgment against Tommy Robinson is eminently appealable, to put it mildly. He fell a bit short in his last video when he confused appeal against criminal sentence with appeal against the civil offence of contempt. A contemnor doesn't have to ask leave to appeal, he has an automatic right. But it's an easy mistake to make, because the judges in Canterbury and Leeds made exactly the same mistake, and I didn't have a clue about the difference till I read the appeal judgments that sprung Mr. Robinson from Onley. At the end of his video, Politico went into quite a diatribe, and this is part of it.
They are not supporting him because they're worried about Israelis and Palestinians and all that Jewish nonsense. At the end of the day,
that is not necessarily as bad as it sounds.
if you are somebody who would be normally considering supporting such an endeavour, and it is the mother of all expenses at £84,000, it is the right thing to do. And if you're currently being dissuaded by the monumental bullshit that has been emanating from his side of things, that ridiculous video they put out on YouTube, all this nonsense about
that ridiculous video, he can only be referring to the video that TR.NEWS did that made it clear that any Nazi who supports Mark Collett is not welcome to write or speak on any Tommy Robinson platform. Clearly, Politico thinks that Nazis should be able to write and speak on Tommy Robinson platforms.
They are not supporting him because they're worried about Israelis and Palestinians and all that Jewish nonsense. At the end of the day,
that is as bad as it sounds. Any street movement to stop Islamization will always be riddled with the far right. It will always be a force for fascism. And Politico is yet another anti-Semite who is crawled out of the Tommy Robinson woodwork.
Zionist Israel-Palestine agenda, which nobody gives a damn about.
Unless we have a democratic revival to destroy political correctness and reverse Islamization, we are going to have a civil war. Tommy Robinson is not trying to bring about a democratic revival. Tommy Robinson is prepping up his street movement for civil war. And when the demographic Muslim time bomb blows, he will fight it alongside the likes of Paul Golding and Mark Collett. Britain is in such an abject state of moral bankruptcy that the chances of us ever having a democratic revival I see as being as close to zero as you can get. The only person who I see who has the courage and the charisma to possibly bring about a democratic revival is Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson, in spite of the direction that is heading in now, and has been for a long time, to my mind, Tommy Robinson has great qualities. But if trying to bring about a democratic revival has ever been on his table, it's as far away from being on his table than it has ever been. He would rather do street politics for a civil war than try to bring about a renewal of British democracy to avoid a civil war. He would rather enable the likes of Paul Golding and Mark Collett then enable the likes of Douglas Murray and Melanie Phillips. I simply see that a democratic revival is never going to happen. But one thing I do know is that if we don't try to make it happen, it never will happen. And this is one insignificant individual who will continue to fight for it.